Well, good morning, everyone. Decided I was going to do a video on this. This is a news article that SAEXTAZYPREZ brought to my attention late last night. Texted me, I don't know, around like 11, 12 o'clock last night, my time. And as soon as I read this article, I was blown away, and not in a good way. I'm kind of torn between whether or not I want to release the link to the article on my channel, just because we know how some people get, and we know how the trolls get. And this is very much based on the perception of our movement. So, well, I'm going to read this article to you guys. Last time I did a video about a news article, I got a lot of backlash about just putting it on as plain text instead of reading it to the camera. So I figured I'd stick my ugly mug on camera and read it to you guys. So it's a bad video, guys. Sorry, article. I apologize. It's early in the morning here. I just made my coffee. But I wanted to get this done. So, this is entitled, How Police Can Determine the End Game of Constitutional Auditors, where constitutional auditors is placed within single quotes. PDs need to prepare for outside agitators, harassment, death threats, and coordinated efforts at call flooding and records requests flooding intended to overwhelm agencies' resources. Well, that latter part is just not true. That's just people really want to know the information. This has nothing to do with overwhelming anybody. There's just a lot of us that want to know the information. This article was posted yesterday at 3:42 p.m. I'm guessing, I don't know if that's Central Time, whatever. Doesn't matter. It reads, a phone call I recently received led me to possibly a new or broader threat against law enforcement from self-proclaimed constitutional auditors that I've seen widely discussed. I'm guessing she meant to say that I've seen widely discussed. Maybe it's time we consider and prepare for it. The lawsuit that rang my bell. Last month, I got a voicemail from a lawyer who wanted to know if I'd consider testifying as a plaintiff's expert in a lawsuit against the Leon Valley Police Department. He said he was calling me because it was almost an exact scenario you blogged about, having to do with cell phones of witnesses being seized by police. Let's see, I don't blog, but I did write about this one on Police One. I'm guessing the lawyer had an assistant search online for experts on police and the First Amendment. If he'd actually read my article and bio, he might have surmised I work to help officers and departments avoid getting sued. I declined his invitation. A typical constitutional auditor case. At first glance online, the Leon Valley matter looked like just another constitutional auditor case involving individuals conducting what they term First and Second Amendment auditors. I'm trying to read through typos too, guys, so I apologize if I stutter, but if you haven't heard about or experienced one yet, go to YouTube. You'll find people who carry or open carry AR-15s because they can, and then record the police response. You'll find people with cameras surveilling government buildings inside and out in broad daylight or at night from a parked car and then recording the police response. Or they simply focus on recording police activity. Many videos are embarrassing to law enforcement, or worse. Some auditors also post good cop interactions. Why is that worse? That would be a good thing. Posting good cop interactions is what we all want. I don't know what's up with this lady, but, okay. Police One has been addressing the ramifications of such interactions with articles and training, with a focus on how officers and departments might avoid lawsuits and bad public relations. The assumption has been that the intent of these auditors is to, however belligerently, ensure the free exercise of their First and Second Amendment rights without unconstitutional government intervention or suppression. That's true. That's exactly what our intentions are. Except for the part about however belligerently. That has always been a sore subject. We all know that. But, see, I planned a cursory online look into the Leon Valley matter. Not to argue the merits of either side, it would take months for all the facts to come out, but rather as a springboard to reiterate the law I'd outlined in my earlier article governing police response to citizens recording them. Then I started coming across stuff that made me more curious. So far not horrible, but not great. I mean, why is it a bad thing that we post good interactions? I mean, what's wrong with that? You know, you would think every cop would want that. As my camera tilts a little, I'm just recording everything, and you guys are going to enjoy it as it is. The curious stuff. As I suspected it would, the plaintiff's 45-page First Amendment complaint and jury demand alleges police violations of 42 U.S.C. 1983 and the First, Fourth, and 14th Amendments. It's based on police response to 3 protests in June that, in combination, involved detaining people, arresting people, and seizing digital recording devices. We all remember that. None of the 11 plaintiffs are from the Leon Valley. 4 are from San Antonio, a nearby metropolis of 1.5 million people. Leon Valley has around 11,000 people. Google both places, and the first image for each is a study in contrast. San Antonio sports a skyscraper skyline, while Leon Valley shows a rural water tank with the town's name. Only 2 other plaintiffs were ever even from Texas, 250 and 300 miles away respectively. The rest were from Ohio, Arizona, and Illinois. I am curious as to why there aren't any Leon Valley folks concerned about the constitutionality of their police department's actions. Similarly, the plaintiff's attorney is from northern suburb of Detroit. Where's the Texas ACLU? Thus far, I haven't been able to find any comment from them. Okay, first off, what's so wrong with protesters from all over the country going to Leon Valley? Now, if this lady had done her homework, she would see that we audit all over the country, and Texas especially. Texas has been audited pretty much like California. I mean, there's just auditors everywhere, and they're trying to do their civic duty. Now, I say civic duty, and I don't say that lightly, because we're all citizens of this country, and our civic duty is to make sure that our rights are respected. So, I don't see where there's anything wrong with Texas and people outside of Texas going to Leon Valley to protest. I'm pretty sure the Million Man March didn't have people just from D.C. in it. So, let's see here. The first protest was an arrest in Leon Valley in May of Jesus Padilla, who self-promotes as Mexican Padilla. He was purportedly arrested 3 times in April in other places. Yeah, we know that. But evidence of 2 May arrests in Leon Valley leaves some confusion. According to the Houston Chronicle, Padilla was wrestled to the ground, handcuffed, and arrested for criminal trespass on May 9th because he refused to leave a wing of the police department when told to by Police Chief Joe Salvaggio. Yeah, we're going to get a lot of accurate information out of him. An online video that purports to be a May 9 arrest of Padilla shows a calm man who is recording with his cell phone being arrested without incident in what appears to be the lobby area of Leon Valley Municipal Building, which includes the police department. Outside a reception window after he asks for a complaint form. He is not arrested by the chief, and there is no wrestling to the ground. Padilla was also arrested at the Leon Valley Police Department on May 2nd. A video purportedly of that arrest shows a very different acting man. About 17 and a half minutes into an almost 21-minute video, Padilla, who is recording with his cell phone, leaves a reception window and enters a hallway with offices. Chief Salvaggio comes out one of the offices and asks, "Need help? Some help, sir?" Padilla says no. What she does not note here is that Padilla did turn to the window and ask for permission to enter that area and was given permission. It's convenient how that's left out. The chief says this is a restricted area and asks him what he's doing there. Padilla responds in Spanish. The chief repeatedly says the area is restricted and asks what he's doing there. Padilla responds only in Spanish. The chief reaches an arm out. Padilla backs up and says, "No me touches." I'm not going to repeat vulgarities, but basically don't touch. The two continue their back and forth until the incident ends as the Chronicle described. I am curious as to which arrest is being protested and why Padilla isn't a plaintiff. Do your homework. I mean, the information is there. It's everywhere. I mean, everybody knows why Padilla is not included in the lawsuit, and everybody knows that it was all the incidents being protested together, not just the one with Salvaggio tackling Padilla. So, like I said, lady, I mean, there's nothing wrong with reporting on this. We expect people to report on this, but you know, do your homework first. Don't just go by what Salvaggio says. Of course, next section starts out, I talked to Chief Salvaggio. I made it clear it wasn't my intent to get into the merits of any lawsuits, criminal charges, arrests, search warrants, or seizures. I merely asked if he had any advice for other police departments. I thought he might discuss how to avoid such incidents. Instead, the chief urged departments to prepare, not simply for people who want to film police activity. If they're not breaking the law, he said, that's simple. Leave them alone. Simple enough. He said departments need to prepare for outside agitators, harassment, death threats, and coordinated efforts at call flooding and records request flooding, intended to overwhelm agencies' resources. That's no. The call flooding, we all know what's going on there. We all urge our subscribers not to do these. So, we have no control over the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of subscribers across all of our channels. So, he urged departments to have a pre- and post-incident plan that they coordinate with local prosecutors and city's attorneys. So in other words, basically have this big plan of attack to come after us with legal allegations and, you know, trumped up charges. They're going to try to hit us with the max like they've been doing. Okay, sorry again. This camera doesn't want to stay where I put it. Other rumblings. Oh, wait. Sorry, there was one more paragraph there. Chief Salvaggio also urged law enforcement agencies to share information. Padilla has been arrested numerous times by different agencies. If departments share such information, they will be better able to prepare for what might be an outside organized event that could become huge in scale. Almost Park. The chief opined that some of these outside organizers were interested in anarchy and disrupting local governments by overwhelming demands on their resources, including litigation costs. That's not our fault, guys. No, don't try to throw that one on us. We're not in it for anarchy. No, that's wrong. As far as disrupting local governments by overwhelming demands on their resources, no, that's not our goal either. We do records requests because we really want to know. We want to see every detail of what happened. There's many of us with law backgrounds like Mrs. Constitutional and CopCam and Maximillionaire 1 who are well versed in the law, and they want to make sure that everything is being looked at from every angle. So, and they're not the only ones, not by far. So, no, that's extremely incorrect. Other rumblings. The Houston Chronicle noted that many online comments by Padilla's anonymous supporters encouraged violence against the cops. That violence didn't materialize, but the Chronicle did observe. This is a quoted section here. Libertarians, First Amendment activists, and self-styled anarchists from as far away as California, Florida, and Ohio gathered at Leon Valley. Nearly all of those interviewed had a run-in with authorities, often child support or divorce related, that they said ignited their anti-government passion. The chief's home address was published on YouTube along with threats that included, "Where is a talented sniper when you need one?" Okay, no. First off, that whole Padilla's anonymous sources encourage violence against cops. Well, that's on them. That's not on us. Don't hold that against us. That's like anything else in the world. I mean, come on. How many people out there have been, crazy subliminal messages from TV shows and movies that say kill people? I mean, come on, really? And let's see, nearly all of those interviewed had a run-in with authorities, often child support or divorce related. Yeah, most of us have had some form of legal issue in our past, so what? The chief's home address was published on YouTube along with threats that included blah blah blah. The chief's address was public knowledge. It was posted on public websites that were hosted by Leon Valley. That had nothing to do with us. It had nothing to do with YouTube. Remember, that's what they went after a bunch of people for, was the chief's home address being on YouTube. If anybody had spent 10 seconds searching on Google, they could have found the man's address. That had, again, we didn't post the address. It was subscribers that posted it during a live stream. Had nothing to do with us. The quoted, "Where is a talented sniper when you need one?" Yes, comments have that been made. You know what? We delete them as soon as we see them. Even we get yelled at all the time. "Oh, I thought you were about First Amendment." Yeah, well, guess what, guys? We don't want comments like this on our channel. That's not what we're about. So, again, another quoted situation that is incorrect in interpretation. Leon Valley City Manager Kelly Kunstler told Texas Public Radio that city officials and staff had been bombarded with online threats and harassing phone calls at all hours, which included death threats and encompassed spouses and children. She said other small Texas municipalities were dealing with the same problem. A self-proclaimed activist had a GoFundMe page to raise money for his travel to Leon Valley, adding, "I'm in talks with many others to arrange for a large organized event in the month of July of 2018 to make clear that the actions being carried out by the Leon Police Department that violate people's civil rights are now getting attention from many of us from across the country." Many of us tried to get funds to go to Leon Valley because it was that important to us, to our movement, to what we believe in. So don't try to point fingers at just one person. Next section, a broader threat. In the immediate aftermath of the Leon Valley incidents, Kevin Lawrence, director of the Texas Municipal Police Association, said he'd like to talk to auditors. "I'd like to know what their end game is. I'd like to know what victory looks like for them." The answer may be more complicated than we initially thought. For some, it might be simply to test and educate the police on citizens' rights to record them. For others, it may be a passionate, long-held personal grudge match. For still others, it might be an organized national effort at anarchy and violence. Really, lady? It might be an organized national effort at anarchy and violence? Really? She must have read like some crazed troll's comment and just decided, hey, that looks good, let's throw it in the article. No, now, the very first part is what's true. It is our end game. For some, it might be simply to test and educate the police on citizens' rights to record them. It's not just about police, it's about recording in public in general. How often do we get snowflakes that come on the camera yelling at us because they're on the camera? I mean, come on. It's not just about police. It's about all government official employees and people in public. Police in California have begun discussing training and planning for anarchists infiltrating peaceful protests and for internet organizing of outside agitators. Okay, guys, you see that, right? That's this lady's anarchists infiltrating peaceful protests. You know, they're expecting this to turn into some giant thing with bombings and whatever else, I'm guessing, like they see on TV. It's not true. You know, we vet everybody that we contact with and do our best to make sure that nobody infiltrates our protests, our sites, our channels, whatever. We do our best, you know. We're not psychic. We don't have the resources of the government. But we do what we can. Please share your experiences on Police One, especially if that experience includes auditors who seem to have no ties to the local community and its police, but come from outside, appear organized, and encourage violence and government disruption. What? You know, it doesn't matter if we have local ties to the government or not. We work together. We're one movement, one cause. We work together because we want to work together, not because we have to. We're not planning some big world war or any of that crap. We care about our civil rights. We care about our rights being respected. You know, our end game, as they put it, is that when police come up to us and we're recording in public, first off, be cordial. Second off, don't lie. Don't tell us you can't record this. We know the law. You know, even the DHS memo has noted that we're well versed in the law. They did that for a reason. So, you know, it just boggles the mind that people have these crazy interpretations of us. But the other thing is, you know, cops come up to us all the time and they say, you can't do that, you're not allowed to do that, that's against this, that's against that. How often do you see an auditor or just a supporter saying, according to law XYZ, according to this, according to that, you know, we can do this, we can do that. You ever notice the cops never, ever go to validate that? They never check that law. They never check that article. They never check that reference. They go by their instinct only. And they make their assumptions solely based on their personal experience. We want them to work with us. You know, if there is a law that says we can film, which it's in the, you know, it's covered by the First Amendment anyways, but there are additional laws that have been added that further outline what we're allowed to do, we as citizens. So, you know, how many cops in Texas don't know about Turner versus Driver? You know, get to know these things. Make sure you're well versed in the law, not well versed in us. You know, we're not out there for you to learn about us and call us names. And, you know, one of the biggest names we keep getting called is sovereign citizens. We are not sovereign citizens. We are not getting dragged out of our cars kicking and screaming about the Articles of Confederacy. We're not kicking and screaming about free inhabitants. We are people that care about the law and about following the law. You know, this is a travesty. I mean, articles like this is what gives us a bad name and creates bad rapport. Look at her sources. Padilla's cases only and Salvaggio. You got a guy who cheated on his test, was kept from even being in the position for a very long time. Finally, they got tired of paying to fight him, so they let him in. You know, that's your source. There are many of us whose channels are very public. You know, we got a lot of subscribers across many channels. Why didn't you come to us, lady? Why didn't you go to SAEXTAZYPREZ? Why didn't you go to James Freeman? Why didn't you go to Black Label? You know, you could have came to me. I'm not that huge, but hey, I would have tried to help. No. You went by what Salvaggio said. This is just absurd. It's wrong. I wanted to bring this to you guys in a way other than just giving you a article link. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the video in the context of it being informative. I know some of us are going to try to reach out to this lady and make sure the truth is posted. So I'll keep you updated as I learn anything. So I appreciate you tuning in and watching the video. So thank you.